Some levels that I only got to because it was in her mouth, and she spoke it out, and I was like, "Oh, for real? I'm okay. I'm a man of God. Oh, I stand like a king. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like
you will remember that forever.
I was saying that was the first line that she gave me. You was cold. I ain't gonna lie. She got me. I was like, hold on, this girl got a mouthpiece.
Most times, these women still want these men. They still want their baby daddy.
But I remember being in a barbershop, and there was a lady in there, and this young lady, I don't know how your name came about, but somebody said your name, she was like, I don't like her. How is it with the whole blended family? Would you agree with what Steve Harvey said? Were my daughters accepting? Because I had 2 girls before you came into the situation. Would you say they were accepting of you? How was that transition? And would you agree with Steve Harvey? This is an Iwegbu production.
Period. Hey y'all, my name is TK.
And my name is Namdi.
And you are Pillow Talking. Don't keep going. And you are Pillow Talking with the Iwegbus. Episode 13.
We in this
we
piece.
in here. We have so many announcements to make, but first, baby, you want to tell them what we do, who we is?
Yes, so we motivate the common couple to become extraordinary and also help singles get God's best in relationships. So listen, if you're in a relationship, gonna be in a relationship, just got out of a relationship, in a bad relationship, good relationship, whatever, you in the right place right now. All things relationships in a kingdom way. You're in the right place right now here with the Iwegbu's Pillow Talking.
Yeah, so if that sounds like something you connect with, go ahead and like this video, go ahead and comment, and go ahead and subscribe because we keep dropping heavy hitters every single week. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we drop that stuff. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, make sure you rate us.
Yes, hey, listen, we got 1,000. We just crossed over 1,000 downloads on the podcast. That is major.
It
yes.
really is.
Let me tell you this. We've only been back at this really about 4 months.
Yeah.
And to be over 1,000, I want to thank everybody right now who don't visually look at us most of the time, but y'all listen to us through y'all stereo. Thank you so much for listening to us every single week. It's only up from here, like my wife's song says. And we just thank you for rocking with us.
Yes, we are so appreciative. When Namdi shared that with me, I was like, he ran in the room, was like, babe, we got 1,000 downloads. I'm like, what? Like, I'm trying to calculate how fast that happened. Like, first of all, it happened faster than YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, we finally hit.
We crossed over 1,000
subscribers. Wow. Now that seemed like it took a long time. But since we've been back consistently, it kind of moved quickly when you think about it. Now, over the whole span, we were inconsistent. That's why consistency is the only cheat code. But since we've been consistent, man, God has been showing out. So those are the 2 announcements, y'all. 1,000 downloads on podcasts and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And
the biggest announcement, shout out to my beautiful wife. She has launched her website. I am so proud of her, man. This has been so much time in the making. She's been putting in so much work into this. It's literally what God pushed her into, babe. What made you make this website? Tell them a little bit about it.
Y'all, it was not my decision.
It was not.
I did not know I would do this.
Holy Spirit.
Like, I knew that I would be a speaker. I've known that for some years, but like, so first and foremost, I launched my website. What is this website? This is coachtk.net. I opened up my program to be able to have one-on-one coaching sessions with women. And I also released 6 new products on this website, specifically 2 actual full books. I think both of them have almost 10 chapters in them, titled Becoming the Ultimate Package, It Girl, Volume 1, Volume 2, and a 21-day rebirth challenge. That is basically helping you undo, uproot, and unlearn all the traits that you've learned that made you masculine, that made you offensive, or whatever the case may be for you, and then to implement new traits in it. Then I have meal planners, I have a gratitude journal, I have time blocking planner, like literally everything that allowed me to be more organized, more just being able to execute, get things done, still run a household, because y'all know I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I also have a business, and I also minister, and I also sing, and I'm also an artist, and I'm also so like it took me using tools that were available to me, and so I kind of put all of that in one place. So I would love for y'all to check that out. But to answer your question, man, even doing it was thousands of women that were asking me, literally. I went from I think like 10K on Instagram to 23K, and all of that was coaching stuff.
Less
like
than a month and all
less than a month, and women just desiring for me to have conversations with them. Women literally pouring out their hearts. Like, I think that we're going through a divorce. I need help to be more feminine. I've been masculine in my marriage. How did you do this? How, like, just back to back to back DMs. And I literally felt convicted. Like, I remember we told our mentor, I think I told David Shands when we went to his event, I was like, I'm starting to feel convicted that I have nothing to give them. I have no books to give them. I have no community to provide for them except for a quick DM. And when you got people telling you we're like right now going through a divorce, it's something that I need to hop on him. I don't take that lightly. So after hundreds of DMs, thousands of new women reaching out to me, it was something that I knew I had to do. So I created this website for every woman. If y'all don't watch Tapping with TK, that's another part of this as well, is just providing a place that not only we get to talk and have a safe place, but provide tools for that woman that is looking to become the ultimate package.
Yeah, listen, y'all ladies, make sure y'all get over there and do that. This ain't like a money grab or nothing like that. Like, this is actually a calling that was like pushed on her. Like, she had nowhere to send people or anything. And
I couldn't point them to nobody.
Right. No,
God
was like, no, you're the person that needs to help them. Yeah. And I've been seeing this on her for so long, man. Go over there, make sure it's something on there for all of y'all. Literally. Any type of form. If you go there and you can't get something, I think something's wrong. And
our lowest price, we have a with the gratitude journal for $7 or something like that. Yeah. Like, it's y'all. We ain't those people.
Even if you're someone who feel like you've grown in most of those areas, listen, it's always great to tap in and see what else someone else has and add that to your tool belt. So I would say definitely make sure you guys go over there. But hey, listen,
let's get into it.
We have an action-packed show. Let's get into it. First thing first, Steve Harvey. He recently was on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. And they got into talking about a lot of different things. Great interview all together, two unks together. I loved it all the way. One in particular we wanted to highlight when they were talking about the blended family. Y'all check this out.
You got 3 kids, Marjorie had kids. How was the blended family? How did that work, Steve?
Oh, that shit hard.
Thought you were gonna get me cool by y'all like,
no, that shit hard, dog. They wasn't in agreement. They went bowling one night in Memphis when me and Marjorie first got together. We brought all the kids together, all 7 of them. And all the girls went bowling and came back and decided they didn't want us to get married and said they don't think it's the right thing to do. And they need more time to get to know us. And I'm sitting up here looking at some people that ain't got shit. I'm sitting up here going, y'all ain't got a relationship, a good job, a career. I'm paying for colleges and shit. I don't know how I'm listening to y'all making some decisions. Y'all ain't got one boyfriend that done work thus far. So I don't know how they finna tell me how to live. My sons was over there cool with it. Roger, Jason, and Wynn, they sitting over there, they cool with everything.
Right.
The 4 girls, total, just mayhem.
Totally against it.
Totally against it. Ain't none of them got nobody. So why am I listening to
how did you win them over?
I didn't.
You're like, I'm doing this. Me and your mama, we doing this.
Dog, I love this girl. This girl, best thing for me. Now, we gonna work. Now, we gonna create an atmosphere of love, and everybody's invited into it.
Right.
And everybody want to come into it can come into it. Mm-hmm. And it was a point, man, where like all of them except the oldest one, my 2 daughters had graduated from college. Mm-hmm. Morgan was out of college. So the 3 girls were living on their own. Everybody else lived in the house. The 3 boys and the daughter. And Lori grew up with 4 damn brothers.
Right.
So she was, and we could protect Lori at the house with them brothers.
Right.
It got out of hand now. We can't, we can't watch it now.
Yeah, you can't watch it.
Because I'd have been and sawed off a bunch of these little. But like at the house, we had full control of what was going
on. Well, that was a pretty sharp answer. And I just wanted to start this off, babe, by going to you on that whole question. Like, how is it with the whole blended family? Would you agree with what Steve Harvey said? Mm-hmm. And I want to follow that up also with the question of, were my daughters accepting? Because I had 2 girls before you came into the situation. Mm-hmm. And so would you say they were accepting of you? How was that transition? And would you agree with Steve Harvey?
First of all, it was hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Hilarious. I was cracking up that whole clip when I first saw it. So first and foremost, knowing that you had 2 children by 2 different women was intimidating. You definitely did your best to assure me that, this is smooth. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I see them when I'm supposed to see them. Like, everything is straight. And so I was like, okay, mind you, I didn't know anything about men and children. Like I've never dated a man with kids, so I didn't know. So I was like, okay, cool. This is okay. So I went in optimistic, and at that time, I think our two oldest were 5 and 7, right? I think it was 5 and 7,
something like that.
Yeah, or it's either 6.
One is 17 now, and one is 13, and we've been together almost 8 years. What is that?
So
math ain't good, y'all.
Yeah, so 6 and 8.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, like 6 and 8. So
no.
I feel like
because the second one, she's 4 years younger than.
Oh, she's oldest. 4. So yeah,
4
so probably like 5.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, she was like 5. And then the oldest was what, I guess 9.
She had to be about
8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about babies. Yeah. So I think my situation was a little different because they are impressionable. I remember the first time meeting them, we were all in a car together and they were just sitting, they were so little in the back seat and just like, you know, our 13-year-old was just excited. She was just happy. She saw me a few times before as well. So it was, you know, at church, but it was a fairly easy process of like adapting to me. Again, that's because they were so young. So I think if I was coming into teenage girls whose mama was like, oh, you ain't about to take my mama's place. Like, so the oldest never saw y'all together, right?
No, she never saw us together.
So she doesn't know you being with her mom.
She don't even know.
And then as our second oldest gets older, we found out she don't remember you being with her mom.
Remember it.
So
I
both
did that
of them,
strategically, by the way.
Oh, that was God.
Yeah, and just.
You say you did that?
Hold a place. Could you forget?
My
Would you
Lord,
forget?
I'm gonna forget. Let me write it down. Go ahead.
No. So one of the reasons why, and I want to drop this gem here for men. And also maybe some ladies. One of the reasons why I decided to leave the old relationship when I did was because my daughter was getting older. And I knew the environment that her mom and I had was not going to be a good environment for her to grow up in. It was very toxic. It was a lot of just verbal things going on, all that. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about me too. Yeah. We just were, the Holy Spirit told me one night, he said, y'all two good people, y'all just not good for each other. So he said, if you really love her, you will let her go. And if you really love your daughter, you won't bring her into that type of environment because she's going to get older. She's going to be able to see what's really going on. Like as a baby, they can't really catch it all the way. And so that's why I said, okay, it's now or never. It's either I'm in or I'm out. And before we go ahead and lock this thing up for life, and again, we talk about, shout out to Dr. Vernon for that quote, you don't marry potential, you marry reality. I was like, if this is going to be who if she never changed, could I be with this? And I said no, and I did not want her to see that. And I did that strategically, and I guess I didn't know that she would not know that. I thought she would remember some of the times when her mom and I were together.
Well, because
she didn't.
If y'all watch our YouTube, we talk about how the scandal behind us getting together was that everyone thought Nnamdi was still engaged when I got pregnant.
The scandal is more of a rumor because it wasn't real.
Right. That's why I do this all the time, baby. We say those words to, bring them in. But so the scandal behind, and that's why I do this, y'all. I think they know what that means.
They probably do.
Is that you were engaged, got me pregnant, cheated on your host. And so when we were kind of talking to the child of the woman that you were with, we were saying that, and she didn't know you were engaged to her mama.
She didn't ever know.
She was like, wait.
She didn't really know.
I remember talking to her, and she's like, they were? Yeah. So literally the second one only knew me to be with you. So again, my situation was really different. I think when you're coming into a situation where you have teenagers who daddy was supposed to be with my mama. Yeah, like daddy was supposed to be that. You took my mama's spot. Yeah. Like, who are you? That wasn't the case because neither one of them knew you to be with their moms. No. So in that case, in our situation, it was definitely easy. They loved me.
And even my second oldest, even her mom and I were so much most of the time off anyway that when she started getting dropped off and stuff, I think she didn't really realize a big difference. Yeah. We mainly were off more than on. So
Yeah, so she didn't know y'all were together. So like, or she had no memory of it. And so that's why I think my transition was easy into them, and they fell in love with me. Like I brought life to this family, literally, to Namdi and our two oldest, just like joy, birthday cake, like birthdays and Christmases. Like I'm really big on that stuff, and I think both of them really appreciated just the joy that I brought in the home, and just a woman's touch. So for me, it was simple. Now, the parents of the children.
So now we have to get to the part where Steve Harvey's like, "Oh, that is hard. That is hard."
Now the mothers was a different. It was a different situation. So with the oldest, I just knew that I would be straight with her because you hadn't been with her in what, 8 or 9 years?
I hadn't been with her since not even when my daughter's born, I wasn't with her.
Yeah, so we're talking about like maybe 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Who haven't been with her. And then so I just immediately was like, oh, the oldest daughter, 10 years, you ain't messed with her, you ain't touched her, y'all ain't kind of slipped and slide on the low a little bit. Now, those were questions I asked, like, baby, please tell me when is the last time you decided to lay down with this woman. And when you told me those years, I was like, okay, we're straight. No, we weren't.
We thought.
I thought it was good.
We were fooled.
I literally, because I'm like, I know me, how my mind is. Like when I leave it, I'm who? You bring up somebody's name, I'm like, I don't remember that man, and I just thought, again, y'all, when I met Namdi, I was 21. Namdi is, I know you don't like me saying this, but it is true. You are my first, like, official, real relationship as far as grown man, like, step into the play, actually not playing games. Like, so I didn't know. I just did not know. So when you told me that you hadn't been with this woman, I was like, okay, we're going to be cool. First time I met that woman, she did not. The oldest. Baby girl didn't even speak to me. I was like, oh.
She came around, said hi to my second oldest. Yeah. Like you wasn't even there.
And almost came in the car.
Yeah, almost like dipped her head in the car, but made sure she didn't say hi to you. So I had to say something to her.
Yeah, I remember telling you, I was like, that's disrespectful. Like, I'm sitting here with a whole fat rock on my hand. Like, she needs to. And that's when I knew, oh, you still not over. Oh, so it's been 10 years. But, so yeah, that has been, listen to me when I say this, hell. That situation has been, I have never, ever gotten along with baby girl. Like, with the mother.
Crazy thing, you ain't never talked to her.
I've never talked to her, but just the foolery, and we won't get into it on this video, but the demonic assignment that is behind what she operates in is something that I will just never respect. So in that situation with her, I mean, just moving from state to state, fleeing stuff and doing all kind of weird stuff, like it's been horrible. But mainly because of the daughter, just knowing how much she loves her father, knowing how much she loves me. I've been in both of their lives for 8 years here in August, so I've been here. You know what I mean? So that, and then the second mother, I understood up until probably like 4 or 5 years. I gave her like 5 years.
It's my 13-year-old's mother.
Yeah, I gave her like 5 years of understanding her being angry because
we had just broken up like a few months. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it had only been a few months since she had been with you last. Yeah. So I was always told it takes just as long to get over somebody as it was when you being with them. And I know that's not for everyone. That's not a statement for everyone, but that was my experience. Like I had a 4-year high school relationship, in high school, that it took me that long really to like just get that out of my system. And so I was like, okay, 8 years y'all been on, whether it was on and off or not, I was kind of giving her like 4 or 5 because you said y'all were off most of the time. So I was understanding for a very long time. Like even when you were like, man, I'm like, babe, you kind of proposed to the woman, you kind of was with her, like.
And you did a lot of different gestures. Here's a good key point. Like if you're in this situation and the mothers are being mean and divisive, like you want to try to break the ice, try to do something kind to them, show love towards them.
Yes.
What she did is she would send gifts during Christmas season, all those things. And eventually even one time I think it was like maybe the second time or first time, maybe within a couple of years of us being together, she said thank you. even though her attitude and ways maybe didn't change, but I think she.
Yeah, she.
I don't know.
never-
You gotta remind me. You probably. Know
Yeah,
better
she never really like acted away around me. Like even when we would see each other, she started hugging me, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
cool, I'm straight. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I want, and I think it's such a big deal, especially for the daughters to see us get along because they don't want to choose between both of us, especially our second youngest. Like that's my baby, like her asking like I want to call you mom, like I am literally their mother too, and so of course I want a good relationship with their mothers, but for one of them I know it's not happening. But overall with the kids in general, the kids that was easy. I never had to like do much. I just was me. They always wanted to ride with me, go places with me, Huh?
They love being with you.
Yeah, they love shopping with me. They love talking to me. Like we have a great connection, intimate relationship. Just those my babies. But like I said, I think the biggest difficulty was the mothers, and just especially the oldest. The oldest mom. It has been hard. I'm trying not to say
The oldest mom
words,
had it out since the beginning. Huh? I said the oldest daughter's mom definitely had it out since the beginning.
I'm gonna just say this to the ladies really quick. If your man has baby, or I'm sorry, what do you want me to call them?
Kids, moms, or whatever, like
If he has-
children with other ladies.
if he has
I just
children-
can't. I don't even know why I used the term baby mom before. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like two chicks in what's those little shoes people were wearing?
Crocs.
And Crocs fighting in the middle of the street with their hair just all out. It just sounds You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I guess y'all can call it what y'all want or whatever, but I always said my kid's mama. And they say, oh man, my baby mama, nah, bro. Like my kid's mom. You know, like this is somebody I co-parent with. This isn't some, I don't know. I don't know the word, but it just, something about it. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Dang it. Okay. Well, the kind of
Cause you trying to explain, so y'all let us know. Is something wrong with saying baby mama? Cause I be saying baby mamas. It makes you cringe.
Go ahead. It makes me cringe.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I understand. Like when I hear women like, I don't want to date no man with children with baby mamas. Y'all, I don't. What do you call them? If you don't want
with
to
kids by another woman, it don't
with
matter.
kids by another woman, and let me tell you this: stand on that, sis. If that's a non-negotiable, because most of a lot of our just low seasons of Namdi being depressed and sad and like emotionally not there has been something wrapped around the children, not the baby mamas, but like a mama disappearing and fleeing the city, and he gotta take her to court, and we gotta drive all over the city to look for and find the child. Like it's a lot. So if that is your non-negotiable, baby, I didn't know what non-negotiables was before I got married, but if that is a non-negotiable for you, do not bend that unless you are a woman that is ready to be a therapist, it just takes a whole nother level of self-control that I did not know I had, but it's something that I'm glad I developed. So I just wanted to say that, ladies, if that's your non-negotiable, stick to it. And if you don't, or if that's not a non-negotiable, the only thing I would say look out for is make sure the woman, his baby mama, has moved on and in a healthy relationship with another man. Because if she is not, most times these women still want these men. They still want their baby daddy. So just please look out for that. Like, make sure she's moved on. She's in a healthy relationship. How do you know that? Because she can speak to you. Because she can honor you as the wife. Still to this day, neither one of them honor me as his wife. They still don't say, hey, I know your wife. Like, they don't actually say those words. So just make sure she's moved on. She's happy in her marriage, and that she speaks to you and she respects you and honors you as his wife.
And she's progressing.
Yes.
Because I think that's one of the biggest parts right there. I knew of a guy in KC who had kids. Like me and him had the same situation. At this time, I think, he had we both had like 2 kids with 2 different women or whatever. And I remember him never having an issue with his kid's mom. And I think he was doing parties or all this other stuff. She would come there, she would support him. They wasn't on no funny stuff. It was some real relationship because she also was bossing up herself. And to this day, they still support each other on what they're doing. No issues. Why? Because when the environments haven't changed. When the child goes to daddy house, daddy's on where he's on a certain level and mama's on that same level too. Well, here's the thing. And I'm not saying because I don't know, I've never talked to them, but I saw this. But a lot of times when you're leveling up as the dad or you're the mom or whatever, and the other person still hasn't been doing nothing, they've been making crappy relationship choices and all those things. Your child sees that. They come home and innocently may say, oh, daddy's new house. Oh, mommy's new car. Oh, daddy's doing whatever.
Daddy got a swimming pool in his backyard.
And Miss So-and-so, she was so... And they're innocent. Yeah. But then guess what the mother's going to do out of jealousy or whatever? She's going to try to kill that thing. So even though
this is both ways too. Baby daddies too.
Yeah,
can
both
be,
ways.
If they
because
ain't
you
growing,
know of a different situation where it was the child's, dad that was doing certain things like that. So yeah, they end up hearing these things, and then that jealousy kind of comes in because of the breakup. They want you to do bad. Right. They don't want you to do good most of the time. It's very rare you're gonna find somebody like myself who really, I want my child's mom to thrive. But
that's also because that's why it goes to your point. It's like making sure they are progressing.
Yeah, making sure
because you're progressing, you want better for yourself. You want better for them too.
I want better, because my kid lives there.
Exactly.
I want you to do well. Yeah. I pray for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Be praying for your kid's mom, even if they're giving you hell and all that. Yeah. Pray for them, man. I pray for their progress. The one that ain't saved, I pray for her to know Jesus. I say, Lord, if she won't hear from me, if she won't hear no other way, let somebody that she does respect, and love, tell her about the gospel and for her to receive it. Yeah. Because even with my oldest child's mom, when this is before you, when she was saved, when she knew Jesus, it was good. Yeah. She cried to me and said, hey, I'm so sorry for how I treated you when she was a baby and how I made you have to go to court and all. She cried to me and said she loves you so much, all of that. Got with a dude who was on another buying pattern. They say it ain't a religion, it's a mindset or whatever. But got with a dude, changed her whole situation. And that's when you had came into play. Mm-hmm. And I believe I don't know if she thought it was going to be, maybe we going to get together or something. Maybe that's what made her mad. I don't know what it was. But once he changed her whole faith, God was out the door. I remember my daughter saying, God is not there in this household. So not to go on a whole tangent there, but just, again, it's big that the child's mother or father, they are progressing so there won't be much of an issue. And make sure, women, that you're not getting with a dude who really haven't cut it off. I made a video about, hey, here's 5 steps to show your child mom that it's over, okay? You need to strongly communicate that it's over, clearly. Men, never step in her house. Don't do that. Don't step in her. I'm not stepping in a foot to grab a bag, nothing. I will come straight, maybe to the door, but that's all I would do. 3, keep your receipts. I pay all of them. In some way, I've always done that as far as it goes. You know what I'm saying? Stop smashing her. Don't be doing none of that. And get ready to get a joint custody agreement, because they not going to like that you're actually progressing and actually trying to do this thing as a strong adult and move on a lot of times. So like Steve Harvey said, that it in some cases is not hard. My mother and father, they both co-parented, no issues. So I thought it would be the same for me. I was strongly wrong. Let me tell you, in most cases, like Steve said, that is hard. so yeah, definitely. So what do you guys think? I mean, maybe some of you guys maybe you've been co-parenting. You had that same situation. Do you agree with Steve? That is hard? Yeah. Let us know down in the comments below. Yeah. Moving on. What's up, family? We wanted to pause for just a moment to let you all know we have created a way for you guys to partner with us with our Patreon community launch.
Yes. Look, have y'all been enjoying the gems, the conversations, the transparency, baby? We've been putting our whole life on this camera. And if you have been enjoying it, we are creating an opportunity opportunity for you to partner with us because we want to be able to create at the highest level of excellence, and that requires resources. And that is where you come in. We have created a tier as low as $5 a month, y'all. $5. $5. So if you would like to partner with us, just simply click the link in the description box, and we hope to see you over there. We have opened up our anonymous question situation. Y'all been sending some stuff in. Thank you so much, because it gives us something to talk about, but two, it's kind of our way of like having a therapy a session with y'all via YouTube. But this question I feel like has popped up a lot. And it's surrounding basically like when to know it's over with, when to keep fighting, and all of that. And so I want to read a question that someone sent in. I am currently going through a divorce, but I truly wish God could fix my marriage. It's been so much that has happened with us, and we've only been married for 3 years. He believes in God, but doesn't have a relationship with God. So it's been a struggle trying to get him to come to church or pray and leave his bad habits behind. I've outgrown so many things of my old life, but I just feel like what I know now, I wish I would have known before we got married. Do you think it's too late for God to show up in his life and in our marriage? A part of me still feels like I'm chasing him or forcing him to grow. I found that it's easier for me to not force him or anything with us being separated, shaking my head. Who he is now is detrimental to me and my lifestyle.
That's strong.
Yeah, that's a heavy one. We've been getting kind of, unfortunately, quite a bit of messages saying that they are going through divorce. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for just trusting us with this information. We do not take this lightly. No. I have already prayed for you. Let me just say that. One thing that me and Namdi always look at when people are saying, should I leave him, is does your spouse believe in God? Now, because if y'all believe in two different gods, y'all in two different religions, we automatically like, no, it's not going to work. In your situation, you are saying basically that your man does believe in God, but he does not have a relationship with him. And basically he's not coming to church. He's not praying. He's not doing the things that you would want a man of God to do. He's not basically showing the fruits of a man that has a relationship with Christ. For me, in this case, the fact that he believes in God, I do believe that there is hope. I do believe that there is something you can work with. Now, depending on...
With one caveat, is that if he believes in the same God. See, a lot of times...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the same God, of course.
Hopefully we talking about... hopefully he's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no.
Some people be like, God, no, the God of the universe is just a whole bunch of different people. We all sent praying to the same God. You got to watch...
Yeah, I would think she is meaning her God.
Hopefully she is.
Yeah. Okay. So assuming that y'all believe in the same God, assuming that is, for me, that's something to work with. I think for so many different marriages, we first and foremost, most of us rush into marriage. Let's just say that we do rush, and so now again, this is an assumption. I would assume y'all moved fast. You got in it quickly because you're saying, I wish I would have known this stuff before. Now you got to treat marriage as if it is a premarital thing. So you have to go through counseling all over again, and not in a way of where you are trying to figure out, do I marry him? But like, how can we stay? So intensive marriage counseling. And so a lot of times when I talk to people, either they've done like counseling, they haven't done counseling at all, or if they've done it, it's been with like, somebody that ain't really intense and like really investigating and really being in there. So obviously my first suggestion would be intense counseling with your pastor, with someone that you trust, that walks in integrity, a man and a woman that has been married for a while, that can give you practical tools, that can be going to war for you spiritually, so that your man can see another man being married. So intense marriage. And then for you, the woman that messaged me, your job right now is to pray like you've never prayed before. Your job right now is to pray that the Lord grips his whole being and just makes him fall in love with God on his own. There are things, not me and Namdi like thinking or walking into divorce or anything, but there are things that I wanted Namdi to do that I just literally had to go to the Father about. It didn't matter how much I talked to him. Can you do this? Can you do that? Some things, it gotta come from the Father's mouth. So I would strongly suggest you, woman of God, to intensely pray. And then let's say your husband don't agree to marriage counseling, or it takes a while to convince him. You do all that you can do to continuously operate as the woman of God in your marriage that you can. The Bible talks about the woman being able to sanctify her husband, being able to literally draw her husband into God. So how can you on a daily basis show the love of God on the inside of you? How can you on the daily basis have self-control, not argue back and forth with him, serve him, honor him, speak to him as if he is the man that you want him to be? Speak to him as if he is already there. So I'm going to speak to the woman really quick, and then you can speak to the man in this situation, or her. For you, I'm just going to challenge you to behave as if he is already there. Behave as if he is already a man of God. Start talking, because there's something about this mouth of ours. There's something about a woman in her words that can pull and bring out something in a man that he didn't even know was on the inside of him. So if you speak to your man as if he is already there, it'll give him a feeling. It's like, wait a minute. This feels good. What is this feeling? I need to become this so I can feel this all the time. Baby, I'm so proud of you. If that man take out the trash, tell him you proud of him. If that man, whatever it is, sexual or intimate things, whatever. Oh, you are so good. Oh, this is so great. Oh, I'm so happy. Baby, I would love to, go over here. Let's go on a date. Like, just doing all that you can do to show the love of God in your home. Doing everything possible. And yes, it will be hard, because marriage is work.
Yeah, really, you said that perfectly. Everything, I agree. Everything that you said, I believe that he will change. And I'm just gonna speak to her, because this wasn't him that's reaching out or any type of way. I don't know what he sees from his viewpoint. I would like to, if this was a counselor, I would like to hear what is he seeing, because there's two sides to this coin.
Right.
But I believe that what you said is very big. You can basically you can help him get really in deep connection by God by showing the Spirit of God on how you are operating in a day-to-day in your household.
Yes.
If he sees you, like, just first off, sees you maybe on your face praying in the morning.
Let him see you.
Yes. If he gets in the car and you playing worship, sometimes people they'll get in an environment so much, and then it just gets into their spirit, and it will change them.
Pray out loud.
Yeah, pray out loud.
Yeah.
Man, talk them up. Man, let me tell you, and I always say this, man, there's some levels that I only got to because it was in her mouth, and she spoke it out, and I was like, oh, for real? I'm okay. I'm a man of God. I stand like a king. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, she said something.
You will remember that forever.
I was saying that was the first line that she gave me. That girl, you was cold. I ain't gonna lie. She got me. I was like, hold on, this girl got a mouthpiece. I never felt like a king. Like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you said I stand like a king. I never heard nobody. You straight spitting. You did a lot of things. You just pursued me in such a way.
I didn't.
The note on the card, all that stuff. It's so many things.
You did stand like a king. I don't know how I was seeing you, but I think it was just your chest and your shoulders. I was like, my God.
Yeah, you
like
just
royalty.
So
yeah.
But again, those things, when you start calling me king, okay, I start thinking like, okay, I gotta be a king for her. I gotta stand up like this. It's just the ways that a lot of times you can speak it to him. If you're beating him down about what he isn't and what he's not doing, he's not coming to your church. He like, I don't want to serve whoever it is. And then you start telling what Pastor so-and-so said this, or you need to watch this, or whatever the case. No, like, he's going to run.
I'm so sorry. Let me just say this too. Like, women, when y'all be in church and the pastor is talking about husband things, don't be like,
don't overdo it.
Yes, I wish he would. Okay.
Oh,
like,
my
don't do that, y'all. Like, do not do that, because you don't want him doing that. You don't want him yelling when he say how submissive you aren't. You don't want him to be talking about how you be walking around the house raggedy and not looking that good. You don't want them doing too much, so don't do that. If you are in church, just don't do the most when the pastor is speaking about husbands. I'm sorry I had to say that.
No,
because women be doing that.
Because you be broadcasting your issues.
Yes.
Like, don't keep that to yourself. Holy Spirit, in your mind. Holy Spirit, I hope
touch
you
him.
caught that. Holy Spirit, no. Yeah. So that would be good. Get him, just try to make it like his idea. Hey, where would you like to go? Would you like to visit somewhere else? Or whatever the case.
Well, because that's what I did.
Yeah, that's what you did.
I literally went to church. I did not want to go to the church that Namdi was choosing for us to go.
She did. She went ahead and she allowed me. even though it might not have been the best choice. She said, okay, and she supported it.
Yeah.
And she went fully with it and operated it in it. And every Sunday, she submitted to the whole situation. And at the end of it, I was able to get a revelation from the Holy Spirit that now it's your time to do that same submission for her. It's your time. If she wants to, she said, you like Atlanta? We going to Atlanta, baby. And guess what? The next church, we not going there unless we both agree on that.
Yes.
Okay? And mainly as long as you good with it, we good. Because guess what? You sacrifice for me. A lot of times, like, that will encourage him to make some sacrificial moves when he sees how much you sacrifice for him on what it is. Maybe you don't want to watch the basketball game, but you sitting there and you watching it and you don't know what's going on.
Yes.
But you say, who is that? Is Kobe still? Oh, Kobe ain't here no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know. You just lost, whatever. But you're sitting there and you're trying to be attentive on things that really matter to him. So you're going to get that by having a servant mindset.
Servant.
And I believe, being a servant. He said, God said the greatest amongst those will be the servant first. So make sure that you're serving him. Try to outserve him. Love him. Speak his worth into him, all those things. And the biggest part, make sure you get that counseling. I love to, speak further on that one day, hopefully with that couple. Be great to help them through that because we got in and we had to do some of the stuff that we had premarital counseling.
Yeah.
But because we did within a year getting married to each other, engaged and then married, there are a lot of things that we did not cover, especially because you've been pregnant and all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think the time was the problem.
Yeah,
I think a year is long enough to like do intense interviews and get to know each other.
For sure.
Like
the time wasn't a problem. It was just our situation.
It was a lot going on.
Yeah.
It was a
Jumping
lot
into the
going
bed
on.
too quick.
No support.
No support.
Guidance.
We had now we going through church. We just have a lot going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's what's going on with people though. They putting the max into the bed, but they ain't actually putting the max into their head and actually sitting down and saying, hey, so what you think about this?
Yeah.
So what about like schooling? Would you want the kids to go to private school or regular? Okay, what do you how you think about finances? What is your plan for
What's
whatever?
your outlook on adoption? What's your outlook on terminating a
talking
baby?
more?
Like, just it's so many things. Like one of our hiccups we ran into was politics, where he was
had some different views.
Yeah, we had some different views on politics, and it was like, oh, I didn't know you thought that way. Yeah. So being able to really do that. But now that you're here, what I also want to say is, you said it's a struggle getting him to go to church. Is it the choice of church, or is it going to church in general? If it's the choice, have a seat with him. Let's start all over. Let's start from scratch. Where do you want to go? Because a lot of times we are married to a church and not our actual spouse. That was your situation. Where you was married to your church for a minute. You was like, I'm going here. I'm not learning nowhere else. We would go visit church. We would go visit churches, and Namdi would be sitting there like, I would have to tap him like, Namdi, like, be here. Yeah. But it was a place where, places where he didn't want to go. So ask him, like, sit down with him, girl. Let me tell you, set it up real good. Cook him his favorite meal. Pour him up a glass of wine or tea or water or whatever y'all drink. Set him down. Hey, baby, I really, really love you. I honor the man that you are. I would love for us to just grow more intimate with each other in our friendship and our marriage, for our children, for our future children, if you don't have them. But I know one of them one of the things that I want in this marriage is for us to be on the same page spiritually. And I would love for you to lead us to our next place that you want us to go to church at. Like, give him the opportunity to first see what he thinks about church, like explore his mind, but let him kind of take the lead. Like, let's look on Google right now. Like, remember we did that. We was like, let's see what churches are around us, and just make the environment soft for him to be able to hear you clearly without, I don't know how you speaking to him, but just saying, provide an environment that will allow him to freely think and let him know, I want us to choose the place. Because it sounds like you probably are going to church and he may be staying at home, and that is a problem. So y'all work together in choosing the church. But for now, woman of God, do all that you can do to be the best daughter of God that you can be, the best woman of God that you can be. Let him hear you pleading the blood in the name of Jesus. I thank you for my man of God. I thank you for building him up. I thank you for the great leader that he is. Let him hear it. Let him hear you praying out loud. Let him see you with your Bible open. Let him see you fasting. Let him see you honoring yourself by going to the gym. And, let him see Jesus in you. Yep. And then you will be so attractive that I strongly believe that he will be brought to him. I hope that helps in some way, shape, or form. If you need further, advice, you already know how to hit me up. Yep. DM me. And we'd love to further the conversation.
Definitely. So I want to know, what do you guys think? What do you think about this situation that we read about? What will be your advice to this? Maybe she got some stuff from us, but maybe there's some nuggets that you guys could share with her. Hopefully it will help her out in her marriage. Let us know down in the comments below.
Okay, y'all, so moving on to the aha moment of the week.
Aha moment of the week.
Yes.
And it didn't happen to you. It happened for you.
Dum, dum, dum. Yes, this was something... The aha moment happened for me, and then you put a word to it, like this to it. But you also have been experiencing this, and so I know growing up, it's back at home. I have always just been searching for a place to call home, a place to call my community, my tribe, like. People back at home know I talked about sisterhood and community so much, like. It was the biggest thing because I just never felt like I had it. Well, I have 3 sisters that I grew up with, but we are pretty far in age. Like I'm like 10, 12, 13 years from all of their, in their age. And then we all just have really different lives. And so I learned along the way that just because you're blood don't mean that they're going to be your best friends. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow because I'm like, I got sisters, like I don't need nobody. And it was like, well, no, you got sisters, but they're not your tribe and your people. And so I searched for so long, just always seeking for sisterhood and for community. And so when we went to our church that we met one another at, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, okay, I don't have no connection with them. This is not my blood. They don't know me from, what they say, the can of paint, like they don't know. I ain't heard that in a minute, but so I was like, okay, this is a great start. I was so excited, y'all. I will wake up in the morning. This is when I sung on a praise team. I would run at 6 a.m., run in the morning. I was tripping, but I was so excited, and ended up getting some disheartening news that, there was a conversation. I guess I can say it was you now.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, but he ended up telling me that you were, you can tell the story.
Yeah, no, this is when we were friends and we were talking. And and you had told me that it was kind of been hard to connect with women in the church. And I don't know how it came about, but I remember being in a barbershop and it was a young lady in there. And this young lady, I don't know how your name came about. But when somebody said your name, she's like, I don't like her. It's like, well, and me and another person's like, well, because we was like, she seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she was like, she just be doing too much. She didn't really have no other explanation, just that you be doing too much. I'm like, I've never seen you do too much. Or
yeah.
I think it might have been your fashion because you definitely was the most fashionable person there. And
not even on purpose, y'all. I grew up in dang near Pentecostal, churchy church, tights, heels, dress. Y'all let me know if y'all know what I'm talking about. But I was a church girl, so I was 20 when I went to this church, by the way. And when I went there, I just came from what I knew. I thought that I could come to this place as I was, but I stood out because I was wearing dresses and heels and tights and makeup, earrings, jewelry. I was fur coats, I didn't know I was being extra. That's just what I knew.
Trying to be.
I wasn't trying to be at all. But it was disheartening hearing it because I'm like, dang, so the church that I chose, I ain't about to have sisterhood here either. And I remember seeing her. I had never met this girl that he told me was talking about me. But I remember seeing her next Sunday and I made sure I went up to her like, hey, beautiful, how are you doing, sis? But I remember it just almost every season of my life just pulling for people to love me, accept me. I know, I'm going to step in a room. I'm probably going to have an outfit that's fly. That's who I am. And it's crazy because trying so hard to fit in these groups for all of those years and never, ever feeling at home worked for my good. Yeah. And there was a moment that when we got to Atlanta, Nambi, I think I was crying or I was sad about something. And I remember you saying, and if they would have loved you, you would have stayed where you were. If they would have accepted you, we would have still been at that church. If they would have honored y'all would still be in Kansas City. And so is there something on me?
No, I'm good.
Oh.
I'm good.
And so for some of us, you literally have to experience that to move. Some of us are disobedient, you know, like God could be telling you this is not the church for you. God could be telling you this is not the man for you. But sometimes you don't move until, unfortunately, he hit you the first time. Unfortunately, he cheat on you for the first time. Unfortunately, when your family disrespect, dog you out, then you like, I gotta go. Yeah. And so it was years of just never feeling like I belonged, never feeling like I was really locked in. I never really had like a best friend. I never really had like sisterhood. I never really felt like I belonged anywhere. Yeah. And now understanding 30 years later that I wasn't supposed to be there. Yeah. And had I been comfortable at my hometown, had I ever really settled in, I would have been settled. And I would have settled as far as my calling, as far as like me moving to Atlanta. That wasn't even just a heart thing. That was kingdom. Like that was business. That God's like, no, you got to do some stuff. So let me shake you up out of your comfort zone, because that's what it was for me. And it's so crazy, y'all, because even up to me, I haven't really shared too much of this story, and I'm not quite there yet to fully share it. But even up to the point of me leaving, y'all, things just got worse. Like people that I love and I was so close to, tough. It got worse. Like the things that were being said about me, just like betrayal that I was experiencing, I had never experienced. And even moving here, like when I still was trying to go back and still have relationships with people from the past, my heart kept getting broken. Like I just had a revelation just recently where I was like, dang, that person too, where I was like, I was crushed. And it just gave me that drive. You gotta go. You like even here, not just go like leave, but like go do what God has called you to do. I told my cousin the other day, I said, you better walk in purpose, because if you don't, you'll sit around and just be sad about all that you don't have and all that you lost. I have experienced loss from relationships that I just knew I would have forever. And so that is one thing that happened to me. It did, but it happened for me. Because had I experienced the love that I was so desperate for, I wouldn't have moved, and I would not be doing what I do.
No, that's true. And we came to this revelation crazy in the same week, separately. In
same week.
Yes, within the same week. That, I was listening to something from Myron Golden, and that's what it had this revelation of, that these things had to happen. He was talking about if he didn't have polio, I guess, in his leg or something, that he probably would have been more into sports and all that versus being more into his intellect and all those things. And so he never looked at himself like as being a victim or anything. Because he said, I stopped comparing myself to my brothers. They could run, they could do all these different things. Well, he said all my energy had to go into my mind, like, and what I was able to do there. And so I was like, gosh, Lee, I'm like, it didn't happen to me. It happened for me. Like I was just thinking about, obviously we went through some major church hurt. I had a spiritual father who I was up under, and he did not agree with, me being with you. Right. Regardless, like if I'm trying to work it or whatever, he's like, nah, I'm not with it. And if you don't listen to me on this thing, I remember these words. I'm gonna have to take my hands off of you. Like I'm gonna have to stop. Basically, I have to remove my hand from you, and that crushed my soul. It crushed my being. At that time, I was like, dang. I remember that because I don't agree with you on this situation.
I remember that day, y'all. He was hit. We were unfortunately living together. Let me just say that. So when he had came home from that conversation, or
no, we weren't living together. No,
we wasn't living together at that point. No, because that's when I was fresh pregnant.
Yeah, that was.
I just happened to be at your house.
A week of finding out that she was pregnant.
Oh, was okay. Then we definitely was living together. So, but I was at your house, and you came back from that conversation. I remember I kept asking, I'm like, what happened? Remember, I was so confused. I'm like, you are like, visibly, y'all, I saw, spiritually, I felt he was like something got taken. Yeah. Something was removed from you. I just remember that day. So when he says it crushed him. And he was in that for Like a year.
Cool minute, because I just knew that leaving you was not not messing with you was not the answer. Like, we about to have a child, and you was also having second thoughts on even going through with it, and I didn't want you to commit that sin, but you double down on it. So I'm like, I'm not about to leave this girl right now. Like, even though you my spiritual father, I just don't agree with you on this one. This is probably the first time we had a real disagreement. He let me know too at that time. He said, this is a pivotal point in our relationship right here.
If you don't do what
you
I say,
right now will determine how our relationship goes from here. He made sure to let me know that. That's as far as I'll give y'all the insight on that conversation.
That is scary.
Needless to say, I said, I'm not going that route. I believe that this woman, eventually I seen her down the road could be my wife. So I wanted to at least try to have, continue to work through a relationship with her and just see if we can actually be. But that hurt. It hurt big time, because I just felt kind of abandoned. I really looked up to this person, right? I didn't really, my father was in my life, don't get it wrong. My dad was really good, but there's certain parts that he couldn't give me that spiritual side. He didn't necessarily give me that side of, hey, come here, Junior, let me show you how a man is supposed to do this, how he's supposed to treat a wife and all that. He's just not that type of guy. It's okay. No disrespect to my father. He's great in his area, but he was filling in this other area. So it was like, dang, I'm out here then, right? But when I fast forward and I look at it, I'm like, thank you. Thank you to that pastor, because I know how much I was into that church. I mean, I was posting flyers like I was the marketing team or something. That's all I was with that. I remember one of my homies seeing me. He said, you like the actual promoter at church. Like, I only know about them because of how much you promote them. Like, you are that person, even though you're not getting paid to be it or anything, right? And so I was just in this, some people could say, almost in this cult-like mentality. I maybe idolized, unfortunately, my pastor to a certain level, which was not healthy. That's not his fault, it's mine. And I'm just so glad, because even though our situation, God didn't necessarily want it to happen that way. He probably had us for each other, but he didn't want me to pervert the relationship by end up, having sex with you outside of marriage. He said, I'm going to use that right there. I'm going to use this situation right now, because you're a little bit too much up under him, but you need to be more up under me. Okay. You need to see this word for yourself, even to the point that I remember when we actually tried to go and I was hard headed. I tried to go back. Well, took us back. She was with me, and we went ahead and we went back to this old church. Yeah. We went to this old church, trying to make it better. Man, it was an uphill battle. I mean, people gonna believe what they believe. They're gonna treat you how they perceive you to be. Whatever somebody has told them, they're gonna treat you that way. And we were having sit down talks, all this just wasn't gonna work out. Soon as we made the decision to leave, I remember seeing a video that was, I think it was about Alan Parr, and it was about if these 5 things are happening at your church, you may need to reconsider. It was something like that, or if your pastor is doing this. And I was looking at it, and it was like 3 out of 4. Now, mind you, Alan Parr is big on the Bible. So you go look at any of his videos, everything is in right context. Right. So he's bringing it all back to scripture. And I never had seen it like this. But for the first time, was like, okay, I'm out here. And God was like, let me show you something. And he showed me that through Alan Parr. It was like, the pastor was like 3 or 4 out of those 5, or in that environment was. Then Ruslan had some stuff, and Ruslan was breaking stuff. I was like, dang it, I never saw it this way. I really didn't. And he started to open my eyes. Fog. I was really out of the fog for once. And it's something that needed to happen for me. So I look back at it and I'm like, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for doing what you did. Like, at the end of the day, I told my wife this all the time. People weren't trying to do something. That's just, they believe they're doing what's right. They ain't lost no sleep over it, ain't tripping, nothing. Mm-hmm. But with you, God had a purpose for that situation. Just like Joseph, he had the purpose. His brothers selling him into slavery. Okay, and then eventually coming in, he's ruling the whole land that they eventually come into. Mm-hmm. He had a purpose for that situation at that time.
For the betrayal.
For that betrayal at that time. I was like, man, thank you. That happened. That didn't happen to me. It happened for me. It said, Namdi, release that victim mentality that you had. Yeah. You're not a victim in that. You actually a victor. Absolutely. And that's the same thing I want to say to anybody on the other side of this camera. You are a victor. Like, that relationship had to be broken up. Thank God for all the women that said no to me back in the day, or it just didn't work out. There wasn't a lot of women that never said no to me. Let's just be honest and clear. But there were women that maybe I flirted with and it didn't go the way I wanted it to. I actually do remember hollering at somebody that said no at that time that was actually in the church, good, believing woman, whatever the case may be. And she said no, she wasn't dating at that time. God didn't have her doing it. Okay. But I thank God for that because I wouldn't be with my wife. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. I remember my job in KC, and we talked about this, about our reason for moving to ATL. I was in there. I'm talking about I gave, 7 years or so to that job?
Definitely.
7 years. I made one little one mistake, and I didn't even know how I made the mistake. And my manager act like he's gonna, get this all fixed, all of that. Didn't happen. Played me to the left, had me watch the market for him while he go out of town, all of that. Dang. At the end of the day, comes back, hey, you at one of your stores? Hey, come to your store. Fires me.
He was so happy about
never had a write-up.
He was so happy about that.
Oh, he was happy. He was very happy. He didn't like me. He didn't like me. The district manager that was before that liked me. He was
so trash.
He was.
Oh, I could not stand him.
Again, I say that happened for me because I didn't know what I was gonna do. All I known was retail and doing that. Yeah. I remember getting to my career, the now career that I'm in now, and I was like, baby, I don't know I never talked to people on the phone and selling them over the phone. Like I said, something else gonna come through.
Yeah.
Best thing to happen, because now it opened up to where I could come here, and we've been progressing. We've been in rooms that we haven't been in. Again, somebody right now receive that. Like, get out of, stop feeling like, man, they did me this way, they did that way. Why did he do this? Why did he leave me? Or why, whatever the case may be.
Fighting the inevitable is what we do.
That's a lot of times.
Even us going back to the church, we were trying to heal something and patch something and be God. Right. And God's like, you're not supposed to be there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Everything that has been a blessing has been on the other side of that decision.
What you mean?
Everything, like, since when we made that decision, we're going to leave that church. Because even think about it. We was about to go to one of our friends' churches, and we thought, okay, certainly it's probably good over here. Well, we get there and they're talking, and they basically were on their way of moving.
Yeah, they were leaving.
And so we're like, so happened we go to Atlanta like the next week or a few weeks after that, and we're like, we love it here. Yeah. So
I don't know where I was going.
Stop fighting the inevitable. Like, we were trying to be God.
Yes, I think like a lot of us are just trying to be God. Like for me, I fought for like family. Like these are gonna be, and it's like, but it might not be what it's supposed to be. And a lot of times you end up breaking your own heart by having expectations on something that was supposed to be temporary, making it permanent. So something, and I said this when we first got together, I was like, everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. Like,
I don't want to lose you. Don't say that.
Yeah, and I know he was so mad when I said I was like, everything is temporary, and I still believe that way. Now, marriage and some things are you do have for a very long time, but I'm just saying, like, have the mentality of I'm going to enjoy this, because this is the thing: when you put expectations on something that's either ran its course or was supposed to be temporary, you end up getting heartbroken, expecting this person to do this, fighting for this, and it's like, if you just let it go, guess what? You can actually love them for who they are, because you don't have an expectation. There's people right now, I don't have an expectation for them to call me. If we talk, it's just love. I don't expect you to hit me up. I don't expect you to be my best friend. I don't expect you to call and just know when I'm depressed and hit me up. Like, we be putting too much expectations on people too, just like we did, or you did with your pastor. Like that, he was not your God.
It was too much.
That was a man that's just a year older than you. Of course he fickle. Of course he gonna mess up. Of course I'm not hormonal, but what's the word? I'm emotional. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to look at it. Still trying to grow himself, and he trying to pastor somebody a year under him with baby moms. Like, he didn't know. And so if we can step back, and the word is idolizing for everything, because you idolize your pastor. I idolize family. I idolize certain relationships above God, where God was telling me to leave. God was telling me this is it. There's no more, or just like shift your expectations. That's not your best friend. She's just your family. That's not your man. He's just brother in Christ. That your pastor is not your God. He is your shepherd for the moment, you know? And so when we can shift that and you can realize, oh, I can love you because I'm not going to put all that on you. And so all of these things have worked together for our good when we stopped fighting the inevitable. The inevitable for Namdi and TK was to move out of Kansas City.
Yeah, it really
When
was.
we tried to go to church after church, connect with different pastors, we just kept getting disappointed.
Yeah, it just wasn't really. It wasn't like we was going there and getting locked in and then
no.
the same situation.
No.
It just like
It just
this
wasn't
ain't
working.
our church home. This
Yeah,
ain't
it's not
our
our church home.
Just wasn't it.
And
then,
the unfortunate thing about church, when they're unhealthy, is that they can be like a mafia. So when you think that you are just connecting with brothers and sisters, they have an agenda for you.
Yeah, or if you leave the church, you think that you still gonna be like cool with certain people.
No, they don't be cool
like
with
not in most cases. A lot of cases, it's just not.
you. If you don't
like
go to their
that.
church, they don't be cool with you.
Yeah, it's just
Point blank period. And so everything that we have been through has worked for our good. And that's why we titled this, It Didn't Happen to You, It Happened for You. It literally happened for you. Like you told me, baby, if you would have been loved, if you would have been accepted, if pastor would have never taken his hands off of you, we would have been regular, mundane, mediocre couple in that church.
Real talk.
Like
And
we wouldn't be doing what we do.
And we wouldn't be here for those who's gone through the same things that we've been through, because
Yes.
a lot of our inboxes is from church hurt, or a lot of our inboxes is from
Marriage stuff.
for people that might have rushed into the bedroom a little bit, had some issues in their first
Like
2 to
most
3 years,
people.
whatever, like most people.
Yeah.
So now we can come from a real standpoint. Like when we talking to people and we end up counseling them or whatever, we like, oh, listen, bro,
I got
remember.
you.
I remember when I was there just like that. I felt just like that. Let me tell you what I did to get out
There's
that
hope
situation.
because we were left with no hope.
Yeah, we had nobody.
Not
to
only
talk
did
to,
we not have no
barely.
hope, we were dang near cursed to say that we wouldn't even make it to 5 years. So
That's what we were told.
you got to think about all of the people that might have heard words like that that ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna do this, and God needed us to get up out of there, see how perverted it
Come
was,
on.
see how cultish it was, see how bad it was,
Come on.
because we would have stayed in the fog.
We
And so a
definitely
lot of
would,
us stay in the fog with relationships and places. You, like I said, you got to stop fighting the inevitable. You with a man for 10 years, you know he ain't gonna marry you and you want to be married. Stop fighting the inevitable. Get the heartbreak over. It's gonna, the pain gonna come. You know what I'm saying? But get it over with. And something about our pain as well, after we made that decision, everything went up. Everything
Yeah,
went up.
I stopped fighting with the Lord.
Intimacy, our friendship,
Everything.
our money,
Everything.
our careers,
Praise God.
our ministry, YouTube, podcasts, everything went up. Literally, we fought. We say, you know what? We're not fighting it no more. And it took us being like, and I don't give a darn what y'all gotta say. And this is why I talk about, tapping with TK. This is why I say on tapping with TK, like you got to get unapologetic about doing the things of God, not bad things. No, doing the things of God. Yeah. You have to actually get unapologetic because people want you to serve them, be up under them, do what they told you to do, just so you won't get past them. You got to get unapologetic. I'm called just like you.
Yeah, that's what I had to figure out.
I'm literally called just like you.
That's
Y'all
what I had to
watching us
figure
on YouTube, you got a ministry inside of you. You got a testimony to go speak. You got a business to go build. Y'all are called just like us.
Definitely.
And we're not going to build many TKs and many Namdis. That's not what we're out here to do, like some pastors want.
Yeah.
And then you get...
You got to serve with an open hand.
Yeah.
You got to serve with an open hand. I heard this right from our pastor now, Pastor Philip. He said, listen, these are not my people. These are God's people.
Yeah.
Serving with an open hand. That's what we do. So I'm not trying to make our own little kingdom or whatever. We have a community, a tribe of people that God has called us to.
That's
but
not
we
a
want to
kingdom,
equip
though.
them, build them, and say, cool, now go lead the people that can only hear from your voice now. And that's exactly what the Lord wants us to do.
Yes,
So
don't fight the inevitable.
No, please
I just
don't,
keep hearing
man.
that in my spirit for somebody. Do not stop fighting the inevitable. Again, you with a man right now that you know don't have no plans to marry you. Or let me say, you thinking you about to marry potential and it's reality. The reality is, sis, he lazy. The reality is, sis, he ain't in church. The reality is, sis, so if you are not married, First of all, pay attention to reality. And then second of all, do not fight the inevitable, which is probably that y'all should not be together, which is probably you should not be at that job, which is probably you should not be at that church. Right. Stop fighting the inevitable.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be at, like I said, somebody at that job right now. You may be listening to is about to go to their job or something like that, man.
Make your escape plan.
Make your escape plan. Somebody asked us about that yesterday when we was going live. Was like, what do you say? I think she said, even if you live with them. And this is like, well, I hope you're not married to them, but at the end of the day, whatever it is, make your escape plan. When we got together, we made a vision board.
Yes, we did.
Made a vision board. We wrote it out. And we said, and we put dates to it. That's what my wife is good at. See, because I would just wrote it down. But we put a date to it.
By May 15th, we up out of Kansas City.
We got to do this.
Yeah.
And I mean, because that time comes around so quickly. And so, make sure that you make whatever your escape plan is. You know he's been knocking on your door. You know your manager been getting on your daggone nerves. The job is not no good. Whatever it may be. That girl that you with, her mouth is just bad.
Friend groups.
Beats you down.
That are keeping you at the same level. Yes. They're not growing. Everybody broke. Nobody growing in career, money, relationship with God, nothing. Stop fighting the inevitable and let what happened to you work for you. Yep. Let it work for you. Yep. A lot of times people, all things work together. Yes, according to his plan for your life. Not you doing the same thing and expecting a miracle to arise up out of filth. Like that you got to be obedient too. And you got to stop being scary. A lot of us are so scared of what's on the other side, not knowing what's on the other side is actually your breakthrough.
I was there.
Yeah.
So I'm a witness. I was there. But let me tell y'all,
a witness.
For somebody who was like, what if we do make this move to Atlanta? What if it don't work out? That's me. Unfortunately, I'll be double thinking on stuff. I should never do that, but I do sometimes. Let me tell you.
Well, no, baby, it's good that you do sometimes because you are also the more stable person. Yeah. I'm a little more fickle. So I need you to be like, no, let's think this through real quick. Like we balance out each other, y'all. I am a big faith mover where I'm like, let's do it.
She crazy faith with it. Might be crazy faith. If she was somebody like hers, it might not lead to the right place.
Right.
But God has put us together where we're, she's stronger in areas that I'm not. And I thank God for that. I hope you got the same as far as that goes. So, man, the hint is there.
Right.
Make the move. Yeah. Whatever it is that move is, he's trying to say, hey, get out of there. This is happening. This is happening for a reason. They're talking to you like this for a reason. They messed up your check for a reason. Whatever it may be, it's for a reason. Make sure you do that. So I know that we're not the only ones who had that revelation. If you've had that revelation too, that something happened to you, okay, for your good, for your greater, like to where you're at right now, man, share that in the comments below. If this bless you, also if you got value from this part of the segment too, share that in the comments below.
Yes. So that is it. Episode 13. It's a wrap.
In the books.
Huh?
In the books.
Yes, I am so honored to do this with you. When we talk to other couples, they're like, dang, we wish we did something together. And sometimes you don't know how blessed you are until you get around other people. Really? And you move around and you see that, this isn't happening. Like it's not a lot of married couples that do what we do that can work together. Y'all, we work together. We're at home. We are with each other every hour of the day. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know. And I wouldn't have it no other way. Like literally, I'm spoiled. Like I'm literally spoiled just on how she treats me and make sure I got breakfast, dinner, all that stuff as far as that goes. But just spoiled with being with my best friend all freaking day. I wake up and I say I wouldn't be nobody else that got what's that?
Our friends be like, hello.
Yes. Can we get together?
Are y'all gonna hang out?
I'm like, man, I'm so having so much fun hanging with her. I'm good. Like, I gotta, that's something that I've had to learn within this new season of ours. Is relationships is very big and major.
Yes, we realize we have been really locked in with each other. Now we're like, okay, babe, we might have to sacrifice a night and go out with friends, and we've been doing our best to do that. But it is fire to be around each other as much as we are and not really be like annoyed. Nah. And if we ever do, it's like, all right, I'm going to the prayer room.
We get our moments. I pray that you guys get blessed to the point that you can do something, build something with your wife or your husband. It's just so great. Like, it's so much reward in that. It's amazing. I could go on and on about that. But listen, closing up the show, man, go in the description box, do all the things that you see down there below. Like, subscribe,
Patreon, all of it.
Patreon, all of it. But until the next time, y'all be blessed. We'll holler at y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Iwegbus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.